So we have our final office hours with AWS before the Datathon starts in a few days. And today we are going to apparently discuss Amazon SageMaker in detail. Is that right? We're going to see how that can help people do some really cool stuff. So maybe you guys could take over from here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you again, folks in the audience. We're here again, another office hours, and the last one before the Datathon starts in a couple of days. So today we're going to be covering SageMaker, but specifically Canvas and JumpStart. So if you guys want to know more about SageMaker, you can go to the AWS documentation, or you can watch last year's office hours when we went a little deeper into Amazon SageMaker. So today we have with us our esteemed colleague, Joe Wilson. He's in the field expertise of AI ML, and he's the one that's going to be, and probably you guys, if we're here last year, he was the one that talked about SageMaker as well last year. So we have him again to talk about the same service, but in this case, two different offerings like Canvas and JumpStart. So I'm going to pass it up to you, Joe. Take it away. Maybe if you want to introduce yourself first.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Dineski. And from my side of the world, it is in the morning. So I like to say good morning from my side of the world. Currently where you are, it might be in the afternoon. But it's good to be back. So my name is Joe Wilson. I am a solution architect at AWS. I've been with AWS about 3 years now. And I come to this position with a background in data science and international development. So it's always like sort of homecoming for me when I'm interacting with you folks from the UN. I know my first internship when I graduated from college, I worked with the UNDP in New York. So it always feels like a homecoming when I'm doing this sort of interaction with the UN. So I'm glad to be with you this morning. So as rightfully put by Doneski, we will be looking into SageMaker Canvas and SageMaker JumpStart. So what I'm going to do is give a very high level and to a presentation, and then we will go through a demo, walk through the console, show you some features. As usual, always, please feel free to interrupt me if you do have a question. And it is good to make this more of an engagement, interactions, than just a presentation. So without much ado, I just like to jump right into it while I'm trying to transition to the slide. If anyone has a question, please let me know. Okay, I gotta share my screen. For a minute. Why is this team not? I just did a meeting. Why is it not allowing me to share my screen?
Hey, Shauna Maria, can you please give him rights to share?
No, I have the right to share. I mean, Teams.
I did, yes.
Team is just
if you find it difficult, Joe, you can send me the presentation, can share my screen, and then I can just move forward with you. If you are not able to share the screen.
Okay, in the interest of time, let me do that. I don't know. Is it a system thing? Let me send you the deck.
Yes.
Dineski.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I think it's our AWS kind of security thing, but I'm not sure why. I just had a meeting yesterday on Teams.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. Yeah. You see.
Yeah.
One moment. You still haven't sent it, right?
Yeah, I got it Datathon. Just go to your Slack. Yeah, this is weird. I don't know why.
That's fine.
Yeah, I just sent you the deck.
Yeah. Let me download it then. We apologize for this, folks in the audience. This is something that was not expected. So we'll do our best
Yeah.
to get back to this.
Yes, I don't know why. Because it wants me to log out and log in before I have that privilege to share, but that's a waste of time.
Let me know if you guys can see it.
Yeah.
They were good.
Go ahead.
So yeah, and so what we're going to do is just walk through like the overview of SageMaker Canvas, and so you can start with the next slide.
Sure.
So basically, SageMaker Canvas, this is where everyone has the opportunity to perform machine learning services, regardless of their skill set. Next slide. So normally we know that when dealing with machine learning, it requires a lot of skill set, right? And the demand for these skill sets is high, but the availability is kind of challenging. People need to have technical skills. People need to be able to code, right? And also must be able to have that strong collaborations between different teams. So these are challenges in the real world out there, but then the essence of SageMaker Canvas is to bridge that gap. Next slide, please. So Amazon SageMaker Canvas is that one, I call it that one-stop shop, wherein you come and build your data, you can bring in your data, build your model, and also deploy your machine learning model, regardless of your skill set. And this is all like a just simple click and drop. You don't need to know how to code, and you don't need to be experienced in machine learning. You don't need to have that higher level expertise in machine learning engineering. Or what, even if you do have some experience in machine learning, SageMaker Canvas can also kind of accelerate your model development, your data preparation, your exploratory data analysis, and deploying your model once you're done building it. Next slide. So this is one typical example. How can SageMaker Canvas help support other industries, right? For example, it can be used to leverage generative AI, used to leverage different data sets, whether the formats of the data, it is it's a tabular data, a CSV data, also different sort of machine learning workload, be it natural language processing, be it computer vision, just different ways. And the slide you are looking at is just one of many ways SageMaker Canvas has been able to help the healthcare industry to deploy different models, different pipelines, and solve challenges or constraints within the healthcare industry. And this can also be copied and be transferred in different industry. For example, the UN could be looking on issues of climate change. You can have domain experts who don't know how to code, but they can leverage SageMaker Canvas to work towards those sort of goals and help with some predictive analytics in terms of climate change issues or even agriculture, right? You want to make some predictions on how you use manure, how you use seeds, or cut down on waste for smart agricultural policies. So in this way, everyone have the opportunity to work in SageMaker Canvas and tackle the problems you were trying to solve. Next slide, please. Any questions so far? Okay, so the next thing we're looking at here is being able to have a single environment, or what you call a single source of truth, wherein you come and work in, you bring your data into that environment. You can train and evaluate your models. You can generate your predictions within the same environment. You can deploy the models. See how awesome this is. And you don't need to be a data science professional like I am. You don't need to be someone who has that sort of experience in Python to code. You can just come into this environment, just click and drop, and you can perform machine learning workload. But let's look into each one of these and talk about how we could leverage them. Next slide, please, Doneski. So, but before talking into this, I want someone to give me a typical example. Anyone on the call, what would be some sort of typical example that say like a problem you will want to leverage? I see your comment, Diego. It sounds easy, right? Yeah, and hopefully going into it it can be easier for folks who have not. Anyone has an idea, any problem probably you want to tackle and see how can SageMaker Canvas help you in that? Okay, while folks are thinking about that, so you can just hit the next button. There are a couple of other things that are coming up just to fasten times. So what you see here is just a visual how you bring in your data, right? So everything is like a user interface, is visual. You bring your data, you perform different workload. So is in SageMaker, we have something called like a data wrangler. Right. And data wrangler is where you bring in the data to perform your data, process your data, do your EDA or exploratory data analysis. If you're into machine learning or if you're into data and analytics, you'll be familiar with the 80-20 rules that 80% of the time, yes, there's regression problems that can be done in SageMaker Canvas. So 80% of the time, you use 80% of the time to prepare your data, whereas you use just 20% of the time to do the real machine learning work. And this SageMaker Canvas have built-in algorithms that shorten the time it takes for you to prepare your data. You can get data quality inside reports. You can see if there are missing values and what actions you want to take. Everything is available in Canvas. Next slide, please. Train and evaluate your model. So you can use AutoML or you can select algorithms, right? And this gives you insight into your model. You can see the performance. You can see how much contribution each attributes, right? Or your parameters that are contributing to the prediction of your model. So you get this sort of insight in a visual way without coding, and you take actions. Right? How much does this attribute contribute to predicting my target value? And you can see the status, you can see the performance of each attribute in terms of its contribution to making that prediction. And if something you want to take out, or if something that doesn't make sense, right, the choice is yours. But the best thing is you, in a visual way, you train and you evaluate the model. That's exactly what this is communicating. Next slide, please. So One of the good things about SageMaker Canvas is have built-in foundation models. Foundation models are large language models. And when we're speaking of large language models or foundation models, we're talking about generative AI. Some of you might be familiar with the hype of generative AI, or maybe to some, it might be something new. So when we speak of generative AI, in a nutshell, think of ChatGPT, right? So, and within SageMaker Canvas, we have foundation models from some of the best models, large language model providers in the world, whether it's Stable Diffusion, it is Meta, as you can see, it is AI 21. You can use these foundation models, which is integrated with JumpStart as well. You can leverage our retrieval augmented generation to fine-tune your models that you want to leverage for your use case. So it's like a hub, right? It's like a common marketplace for you in a way that you don't have to write a single line of code to do all of these awesome work. As Diego said, sounds easy. Next slide, please. Then, of course, right in that same space, you can generate your predictions. You can do what if analysis, right? And once you evaluate the model, you test this model on a data set in your environment, and you can generate a prediction. And you can see that how much is the model performing, right? You can go back to your evaluation and see what is it that you want to change. This can also be integrated with another technology called Amazon QuickSight to give you insights about your model predictions. We can talk more about this sort of integration flow where you generate predictions and you visualize the outcome of that prediction in another platform to take actions. All of this is just to accelerate how you leverage data, how you build, train, and deploy the machine learning model in a single environment without having a high level technical skill. I know I've been talking a lot. Any question, any concern, anything resonate with anyone? And yeah.
I just want to say, Joe, that
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead yeah, I mean, I can take this one. Yes, there's multiple ways that you can crawl the data from the Open Registry, but one of the easiest ways is to crawl it using AWS Glue, which we talked about last year. And in the platform that we are providing, and also in the wiki, you can go ahead and see how to crawl the data from the Open Registry, or also known as RODA, and how to bring it to your environment in your AWS account, the one that we're going to be providing for you, and you can upload it to S3 in that account. So that is yes, AWS Glue will be the best option. That's one of the preferred options to do it, like crawl it from that public bucket that is in the Open Registry, and then bring it to your AWS account. I wanted to say, Joel, that last year during the Datathon, SageMaker was heavily used by the participants. So it's pretty good that we are going over this, as Canvas doesn't imply any code. So for those people that don't have the knowledge, or they don't want to code, they don't feel like coding, Canvas is a good place to start and to get your machine learning work done. Just wanted to add that. Yeah.
Great. And that's a really good point. Yeah. And for those of you who did not participate, you said we need oh, that slipped away. I saw a comment, I think from Diego.
Yeah. So Diego, you're gonna store in S3, but remember what we said before. That S3 is gonna be available for 72 hours. After that, it will just vanish. It would disappear because the account would be closed, would be permanently terminated. So you have to download that data from the account and keep it locally, or store it in somewhere else where you will be able to use it later for submission of your project, or whatever thing you're doing afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, these are pre-provisioned accounts, and I think Donetsky will expand more when you get into the actual hackathon. But yeah, so you may connect to an external data set. Are you talking about the provision accounts that you'll be using, or is it in your real accounts, like your own accounts? Diego?
Diego, I would suggest downloading it because, when you connect to a third-party website or something, there might be connection issues. If something fails, you will be able to have that data available. So I would recommend crawl it to S3 and keep it there for security and persistence. And once you're there, you can connect it within the AWS environment, and it's going to be easier. But if you connect using an API or something, that's going to be network. You're going to use internet most likely. And then if you have an issue of connection, your data won't be available. So what we recommend is downloading it, keeping it secure in S3, and that will be easier to integrate it. Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to answer the question from Nubia. So Nubia, the answer is that if you're streaming your data real time from an external source or within your AWS ecosystem, you can get that data into S3, and Canvas is integrated into S3. So as the data comes into your S3 bucket, you can just bring it right into your SageMaker Canvas environment and do your data preparation analysis and and build your model and deploy it. So the answer
So
is yes, but there's a way to do that.
yeah, the way I see it, Diego, back to you, is that, for example, you get along better with the people that live in your house, right? So you're more likely to talk to the people that live in your house than the people that live outside, the strangers, right? Same thing. If you can keep everything inside AWS, the integration is going to be seamless. So all the things like someone compare AWS like an spaghetti bowl. Everything is interrelated. Everything is connected. So it's going to be easy if you keep it outside. Now, if you keep it outside AWS, it's going to be much more difficult to connect because you have to have API calls. You have to have permissions probably to that data set. So what we recommend is keep it locally, right? And uploading S3. Yeah, Kinesis S3 SageMaker Canvas. Okay, that makes sense. Good.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt
So
you,
okay.
Joe.
No, that's okay. That's okay. The interaction is, far more better. So let's go to the next slide.
Sure.
So yeah, again, this is just part of the way how you could generate and summarize content using. There is a generative AI feature that is built into SageMaker Canvas. So you can just use natural languages, to prepare your data, generate contents, and also predictions in SageMaker Canvas. And that is really cool. I would strongly encourage many folks to try that out, when you deploy those accounts.
Next slide.
Yeah, next slide. I'm also looking at the chat. I think there's interaction going on there. So yeah, go ahead. Next slide. Okay, then we do all of these awesome work, right? Now the next thing is we want to do is to deploy our models, right? How do we do this? It's very straightforward. You can deploy your model directly into Canvas, right? And the entire pipeline is also built in the SageMaker Canvas environment, right? Even if you got the model and you want to send the model exported out there, there's a way you could do that in Canvas. And the thing about this is everything is just pretty straightforward as you're doing it. So you see, you don't need to go out, outside of the environment to deploy your model. While you are deploying the model, you also get the options to choose the size of the instance that you want to use based on the size of the model you were using, right? And also issues about latency. If you're concerned about performance, right? You want a bigger instance, right? You want a smaller instance. So you have the options to choose between the size of the instance that you want to use to deploy your model. As you can see in the screenshot there is the instance tab like ml.m2.2x/. right? You can change that based on the data you are working with, based on how big it is, right? And if performance is an issue for you, also, these are choices you can make. Next slide. So I'm going to transition into SageMaker JumpStart. We talk about Canvas. So if you observe during this piece of the conversation on Canvas, you notice that we didn't show anything with code. We didn't write code, nothing, right? So you'll be wondering, what about me? I do code. How do I use environment? I don't want to use the click-through. Right? SageMaker JumpStart is another, another opportunity that you could use SageMaker JumpStart, and this is like a hub of foundation models. They come with not just foundation models, but also pre-built models or algorithms that you can use, and to build on top of it, to customize it for your use case. And the goal of this is that AWS is so strategic in it that it helps accelerate the entire process of machine learning. So you don't have to start from scratch. Like, I want to do this, I want this model, but I have to build it from scratch. You could if you already have a, or you can bring your own model in the environment, but Jumpstart also have models that are available. All you need to do is just tap on it, just, customize those models or fine tune those models to suit your use case. In essence, that's what Jumpstart is for. Next slide, please. So this is just reinforcing or restating some of the things I've already said. Why you may want to use JumpStart? Why are you looking for some of the best foundation models that the model provider in the world, right? SageMaker JumpStart have them. We got AI 21 Labs, Meta AI, Stability, Cohere, and these are just foundation models that you can build on top of. You can fine tune these models, right? If you're looking for a unique use case. Say, for example, you want to work on a tax specific models, right? My colleague and I wrote a blog and we published a few, I think, last month. So AI 21 has a model available called tax specific models. It's also available in Jumpstart. And what that does is it just performs specific tasks. Say, for example, we want to do text summarization, right? So instead of using the foundation models, a generalized model that probably might take a longer time, might have a lot of compute resources involved, you could use AI 21 Labs, tax specific models in AWS is available. The notebook is also available in Jumpstart, right? And just perform your tags. You want to summarize, right? You can build it for your question answering or chatbots, right? It just gave you specific results. It performs specific tasks, unlike just using a generalized model. So that's just one example why you may want to use SageMaker JumpStart. Any question? Next slide, please, Doneski. So there are different features so if you are the person who want to code, you can leverage the notebooks. Notebooks are there. By notebooks, I'm talking about the Jupyter notebooks. So that is an IDE, integrated development environment, where you can write your own codes, right? Or you want to bring your own model into the AWS environment, you could bring it into your SageMaker environment, build your custom model, write your code, customize it. But if you are wondering, wait, what's the difference between Canvas and JumpStart? Canvas, you don't have to write a code. JumpStart, everything is there. You could use models that are already existing, or you can customize this model. You can write codes, or you can bring your own model and also write codes using Jupyter notebooks. And you can share these models across different AWS accounts. You can use what we call the AWS Resource Access Manager. That's another technology that can be used to share resources across accounts, so you can provide this seamless environment for collaboration with different people, different teams, different individuals working on different aspects of the model, and all can happen in real time, right? Next slide, please. These are just few of the many models that are in SageMaker JumpStart. We already talked about it, but showing is just reinforcing. So any questions so far? Okay, Nubia, Diego, and the rest of the team, any questions, any concern, anything that resonates based on what we talked about so far? Thank you, Diego. Yeah, I recognize the name because of the interaction as well. So I didn't mean to put you on the spot. My apologies if, if that how it come across. But anyways, let's keep the interaction going. So why would you want to use that? You want to look about cost, accuracy, speed, latency, ease of use. These are all reasons why you want an environment that is seamless, that can integrate with other AWS services, right? For example, your S3. No, AI21 is a model provider, right? It's like just like Meta. Meta is a model provider. AI21 has different models that are in SageMaker JumpStart or the SageMaker environment.
And I want to say this model can also be used in the Bedrock as well. You usually have to ask request access to that. This slide talks about cost, and this is something that we have to repeat in every office hours. Guys, don't worry about cost for 72 hours. You're going to be using the AWS account that we're providing, and you don't have to pay a cent. So cost is very important to be considered when you're using your personal or your job or your work AWS account, but not during the Datathon. So don't worry about cost. You can use these models. You can use some JumpStart SageMaker for 72 hours for free.
Good. Okay, next slide. So everything we talk about, if we don't talk about security, then maybe we have not hit the hammer on the nail, to put it that way. But yeah, at AWS, we always say that security is job zero. So if you're concerned about your data security, the data we were using, how protected and secure is that environment? It is highly secure, right? And all of our environments are built with security being a high priority. So your data that you even bring into the environment, AWS does not retain your data. You can come and train your model, fine-tune the model using your own data set, but this data is not retained by AWS. We don't use the data to improve our model, right? So everything is there, and you can also encrypt your data as it moves from one system to another. If you are sharing data, if you are streaming data into AWS environment, into SageMaker JumpStart, it can be encrypted. We use the TLS, the transport layer security, and that's the security protocol that we use to encrypt your data. There are also opportunities to encrypt your data at rest, right? And I know Donetsky and Ezo might have already spoken about these encryption methodologies that you can leverage.
Yeah, I wanted to add that once your data is used in a specific model or on SageMaker or Bedrock, the data never leaves AWS. You interact with a service, and AWS interacts with the third-party provider. But your data is never visible. People don't see your data. No one sees your data. It never leaves AWS, and it's encrypted both in transit and server side. So at rest. So that's something that we have to understand, that the data never leaves the AWS network, backbone network. Okay.
Okay. So we started off with SageMaker Canvas. We talked about SageMaker JumpStart, that how it's a hub, a one-stop shop with pre-built algorithms and models and different packages that you can use to ease the use for building your machine learning pipeline or deploying your model, customizing and leveraging foundation models that is available. So you have the choice to pick from different model providers, AI21 is one of the model providers, right? Stability AI, Stable Diffusion, all of them are model providers, and SageMaker JumpStart just have them in there with their models that are available for you to pick from, so that you don't have to go out wondering, where do I get to choose from a foundation model, and how do I bring them into the AWS environment, right? They're there for you. Just pick what works for you. So there are a couple of ways you could use the foundation model. You can use SageMaker Studio and the JumpStart in the console. They also have SageMaker, the SDK you could use, right? And where you write your code, you can install, if you're a coder, you do your pip install to get the SDK and deploy your workload. You want to use APIs and other means, that's opportunity. Then we also have the console, where you can go into the console, you can access the foundation models. You can use Bedrock as well. Amazon Bedrock, you can use that as well to access foundation models. So these are just the different ways you can interact with foundation models in JumpStart. Next slide, please. So if no question, well, I'd like to say thank you. That's all I have to cover for the presentation. If there's any question, so maybe I'll just kind of log out and rejoin so I can be able to go through the console for demo. Does that work for you?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, Joe.
Yeah. Okay. Let me log out. Yeah, this is why this is like this.
Yeah, in the meantime, I wanted to say while Joe is trying to log out and log back in, I wanted to say that in the wiki we have added information for you guys to have. There's one section in the wiki that says AWS services and the services feature in the Datathon. So we try to compile as many services as possible. The services are going to be used during the Datathon, mostly related to machine learning and data analytics and data science. So you can go to the wiki and find Amazon SageMaker, and there are links there. There is information that you guys can take a look at and understand a little bit more about SageMaker and be ready or more prepared for using it during the Datathon. So we have SageMaker, we have Bedrock, we have Athena for interactive query. We have S3, we have AWS Glue, we have EMR, MapReduce, Elastic MapReduce. We have identity and access management as well. So we have mostly all the services that you're going to be using during the Datathon. So feel free to go to the wiki and check that out. Just wanted to say that, okay? Is Joe back? Okay, he's back, right? Are you there, Joe?
Yeah, can you see me? Yeah, so. Oh my God, why is this thing? Oh man, why is this?
Are you having any issues with probably in the systems of the you're using Mac? I see you're using Mac because of the sound of the
Yes, I
trackpad.
use the Mac.
Okay. Yeah, maybe the system settings, probably you have to probably give permissions to Teams. Maybe your computer doesn't have that.
I just had a customer call yesterday. I used Teams. I've been
On
sharing my
Teams.
screen. Yeah, I don't know what happened this morning.
Okay. Is there any specific permissions that he needs, Maria or Sean, that he
No, I
doesn't
think
Nothing
have?
else.
it's from my
Nothing
computer.
else.
It's from my
It's
computer.
Do you
Teams
have a link?
Premium. I'm not sure if it makes any difference.
Yep. Joe, do you have any link Are you sharing the demo with a link, a specific link that you can send to Easel, and Easel can share the screen?
Yes.
Do you have
So,
an endpoint or something? Easel, you there?
so
Yeah, I'm here.
oh, man, this is
Yeah.
so.
Can you
Yeah,
take
I
over,
just.
Easel?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, what's the name? Daneski, I just sent you the link to the endpoint. Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God. What is this?
Okay. Easel, I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay.
You can share your screen.
Yeah.
Yep, it's here.
You guys see my screen? Is this it, Joe? I think Joe left off.
Yeah, I think it. You left. Just give you a couple minutes. Should be back.
Okay.
Coming, Joe.
Okay. Yeah. So you could just, yeah, what I would just look at your screen and just speak from there. I know that you couldn't, I don't know if you could enter the link that I sent you as well. But yeah,
This
but you
link,
just,
or I can
yeah,
use.
yeah. You couldn't access the accounts?
No, I'm this is my personal account, but I can use this.
Okay. So yeah, what you're looking at the screen is just is the console. If you enter SageMaker Canvas, that is the console, right? So if you want to build and just go on the left side of it is just these are the different options. Down you see home, running instance, your data, how you could bring it data. Click on data. Yes, right. So you see, I was speaking of data wrangler. That is a built-in feature that you can use to prepare your data. So let us open Canvas. Click on Open Canvas.
And by the way, to access this portal, like this actual portal is called SageMaker Studio. So you would have to go through the AWS console and from here, you search for the SageMaker service, and then you can create a studio. So once you create that studio, you just open Studio, click on Open Studio, and then it should take you here to this page. And then from there, you can click on Canvas or any of the services that are provided within SageMaker Studio. In this case, Joe, I think you wanted to talk about Canvas first, right?
Yeah, so this is the Canvas interface here. So if you just click home, so you see this is the Canvas interface, and there are a couple of walkthrough labs and trainings that you could take, and also quick demo that you could leverage, right, to build your skills, to have an understanding of the environment, which I strongly recommend if it's the first time in the console, you want to play around that. You could bring your data set, you could click your models. Can you go on the far left and click on models? So you see, these are different models that are also already available for you. Someone was asking about regressions, you could do some testing, you could do some prediction, for example, salary prediction, right? So they just tells you the art of possibilities in Canvas. So let's go to Data Wrangler. And let's click try to let bring in a data, right? So let me see if I can get a data to you.
Let me see if I already have one.
You have you have any data, like a bank data?
I think so. I think I was working on this a while ago. Let me see.
Yes. But while we're doing, any question? Okay, yeah, so what you're seeing is how to bring your data into your Canvas environment. So if your data is in S3, you could just integrate it and you bring your data. If your data is on your local computer, which is the case of Ezo, you just bring in the data and click it. So when you bring in your data, before even importing the data, you have a visual, right? What you can see, what you're looking at on your screen right now is a visual of the data. In this way, you get to see what sort of data you're actually bringing in, right? So you want to click on import, and that's how you import your data. So this is how you can do your data preparation. It gave you, Nubia, was that a question? I see back, please import data. You want us to go back to importing data? Okay, so Ezo, Nubia wants us to go back to importing data. Will you hit the back
Right here.
button? Yeah, is that a question? Yeah, Nubia? Any question? Okay, yeah, so let us know, what is the question?
Yeah, Nubia, if you have a question, you can put it in the chat.
Yeah, Diego, from what we see, every step we do in Canva creates a new icon in the overall workflow. I don't know what you talk about icon,
I
but
think they're referring to
the
this, right?
flow.
So we
Yes.
have the
So
source.
okay, good.
Yeah, so the source here would be like, let's say S3, and then here you can do the transformation of the data.
Right.
And then you can choose, for example, if you want to get some insights, if you want to add a transformation for this particular data set. So you can actually see the different SKUs of data. Maybe if you want to see if there's any outliers. So you could do your basically your EDA, your exploratory data analysis on this data set for each of the columns. This is for like a supervised learning data set, right? So for example, this would be like a CSV file that contains different columns. So you can come here, add a transform step here, where if you want to do some, let's say, dimension reduction, want to filter or drop some data, you see you have some data that you want to kind of clean up a little bit, format. So
Right.
I think this is what they're talking about, right, Joe?
Let me say something on this. So normally in a traditional world, normally all of these transformation will require coding, right? You want to view a column, you want to transform, you want to convert categorical data to numerical data, right? You want to delete certain columns that you think that they are not relevant to your model or they don't make sense in your data set. Normally, you will have to write code to do that. But as you can see, you just have a visual that you can just click on and it can, you can delete the columns or you can take out the missing values. Like, normal data set are missing. Sometimes there are a couple of missing values and you could just use them. So these are pre-built algorithms. Once you click on any one of them, under the hood, it does the data, the alteration, the transformation, or the addition for you. So as you can see, we try to drop columns now. There are a couple of columns that now Ezra is selecting. Once you click add, so what that means, it will drop the columns that you choose. So you want to go back to data flow. I think in regards to the question Nubia was asking, red data, yeah. So you see, so Nubia, yes, every step we did, we have an icon that shows the steps that you're doing. And this also can help you with auditing with your ML ops, to have an, insight in uh, for a working solutions. Well, it depends how much transformation that you apply to your data set. It does not have a limit.
Yeah, so you
Okay,
can
thank
add multiple like transformations, just depending on what the data set that you have and what use cases you're doing. You can have multiple transformation, and then the final result would be that data set that you would use to import into like a machine learning algorithm to kind of do some prediction, right?
you. Yes.
So
So
I think I
go ahead.
created like a test a couple, I don't know if it was a month ago or something, but this is a model predictor or a salary prediction data set. Let me see if I can open this. Well, oh,
Well, do you go, how would you say a minimum number of icons? Because it depends the number of transformation you're actually providing on your data, on your data set. So you could want to drop a column. You could, when you go back, you want to say add column. You go back, you want to say handle missing values, right? So it's just how much transformation. Yeah.
here you can create a new model. So let's say you want to create a predictive analysis model for, let's say, regression, right? So you have multiple problem types that you can choose from. And then you can say, let's say I want to create this test model. And then you choose the model type that you want. If it's for image analysis, you can have, if you have images, you can use that if you have text. So there's different options. And then once you create that, then here you can select the data set that you already imported. So here you can see that it has, already have a data set that has 510 rows and 1020 cells. So I'm going to use this for like a prediction of like, let's say Celsius to Fahrenheit. I'm going to select this data set and then I can choose the target column. So in this case, I want to convert, let's say from Fahrenheit to Celsius. Okay. So that will be my target column to predict. And then here you can see like if there's any missing data, mismatched data. So a lot of different things that you can configure. You can configure the model that you want. And then here you can choose if you want to quickly build that model or you want to choose a standard build. This one takes a little bit while, like 2 to 4 hours. But this one takes like about 2 to 15 minutes in this case. So if you quickly build that,
Right.
and then you can preview it.
Yeah. So
So
you can just do quick build. So you want to see the canvas for the salary predictor. I think this is the salary predictor data set you're working on, right?
yeah, this is the salary predictor. So I already have it here, so I can go back while this one's running. This one is in build process. So this is the salary predictor model. Okay, so this one just predicts like the salary of a person. I think based off of I don't remember what it was based off of. I think it was based off of age or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know we are at time, right? So I don't know if there is any other question and that I could take, but I know my time is off. I have 1 hour. Is there another question? Anything that we could follow up on?
Maybe so one thing that's very important is to see the notebook, right? So if once you create this model, depending on your use case, there's different ways you can view this notebook. So I think this is very important for people to see that, okay, you can actually come here and download the actual notebook that was generated. And if you want to fine tune it a little bit, you want to look at the code, you want to tweak it, you have this option to download it or copy it to an S3 URI. So this is going to be very helpful for the people during the Datathon. So you can use, you can take a look at this, the training job, and all that. But yeah, I think we're out of time. But yeah, Joe, if you want to maybe wrap it up a little, and then
So yeah, basically, that's all I had to share. And thanks for your understanding. I had to fix my computer system. So if there's another question, please feel free to reach out, send me an email. I'm always open to come and collaborate and support you all. Thanks to Doneski and Ezo for the opportunity to speak with you. And I wish you all a very successful hackathon. Thank you.
thank you, Joe, and thank you, team. Good luck on your Datathon. We're going to be there. So if you have any questions, anything, we'll be there to help out. So you're in good hands. Wish you guys a good rest of the day, and we'll talk later. See you guys soon.
Thank you all. See you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Bye.
much.